Mystery of Homo floresiensis. Flores, Indonesia, is the home of the scientific study of small humans. In the hope of finding answers, retired Professor Gregory Forth theories continue to increase. They are finding a living Homo floresiensis. The scientific community believes a small species of human known as Homo floresiensis once lived on the island of Flores, Indonesia, around 50,000 years ago. But one professor thinks the ape-like humanoids could still live there. Evolution be damned. Think of this as the hunt for Bigfoot, only with a much smaller target. Remains of one of the most recently discovered early human species, Homo floresiensis, nicknamed the Hobbit, have so far only been found on the island of Flores, Indonesia. The fossils of H. floresiensis date to between about 100,000 and 60,000 years ago, and stone tools made by this species date to between about 190,000 and 50,000 years old. H. floresiensis individuals stood approximately 3 feet 6 inches tall, had tiny brains, large teeth for their small size, shrugged forward shoulders, no chins, receding foreheads, and relatively large feet due to their short legs. Despite their small body and brain size, H. floresiensis made and used stone tools, hunted small elephants and large rodents, coped with predators such as giant Komodo dragons, and may have used fire. The diminutive stature and small brain of H. floresiensis may have resulted from island dwarfism, an evolutionary process that results from long-term isolation on a small island with limited food resources and a lack of predators. Pygmy elephants on Flores, now extinct, showed the same adaptation. The smallest known species of Homo and stegodon elephant are both found on the Indonesian island of Flores. However, some scientists are now considering the possibility that the ancestors of H. floresiensis may have been small when they first reached Flores. Discoveries history. A joint Indonesian-Australian research team found #1, a nearly complete female skeleton of a tiny human that lived about 80,000 years ago, in Liangbua Cave on the island of Flores, Indonesia. The skeleton's unique traits, such as its small body and small brain, led scientists to assign the skeleton to a new species, Homo floresiensis, named after the island on which it was discovered. Since the initial find, bones and teeth representing as many as 12 H. floresiensis individuals have been recovered at Liangbua, the only site where H. floresiensis has been found so far. The bulk of the finds related to H. floresiensis date between 100,000 and 60,000 years ago, with stone tools made by this species dating between 19,000 and 50,000 years ago. How they survived. Stone tools found on the island of Flores show that early humans arrived there at least 1 million years ago, but it's not known how early humans got there as the nearest island is 9 kilometers, 6 miles, away across treacherous seas. Paleoanthropologists found many stone tools associated with H. and these tools are broadly similar to those found earlier on Flores and throughout the human evolutionary career. Paleolithic tools in Asia or Old Dowan tools in Africa. There is also evidence that H. floresiensis selectively hunted stegodon, an extinct type of elephant, as hundreds of stegodon bone fragments are found within H. floresiensis occupation layers, and some of these stegodon bones show butchery marks. Evolutionary tree information. Although there has been considerable scientific debate over whether #1, the holotype of Homo floresiensis, may represent a modern human with a disease or growth disorder, most scientists now recognize H. floresiensis as a valid taxon and a human species distinct from Homo sapiens, modern humans. Scientists are now trying to figure out exactly how H. floresiensis is related to other species in the genus Homo. For example, did H. floresiensis evolve from an earlier population of H. erectus, or did it evolve from a smaller species, such as the early humans found in Dmanisi, Republic of Georgia, or perhaps another early species of the genus Homo? Forth has studied Homo floresiensis for roughly 4 decades, first at the University of Oxford and then at the University of Alberta. He wrote a book in 2022, Between Ape and Human, an anthropologist on the trail of a hidden hominoid, and The Debrief recently ran an interview with Forth on the quest. Forth still believes in the modern interpretation of what the locals call the Lai Hoa. What really interested me in the Lai Hoa is that it was small, like the figures in Naj country, Forth tells The Debrief, but it was reckoned still to be alive. And there seemed to be a few people around who claimed to have seen one or more. According to the Leo people's accounts to Forth, these creatures have a human-like upright gait, are hairier than humans but not as hairy as apes, and have a distinct ape-like face. The professor's hopes of finding a living Homo floresiensis were emboldened by the finding of fossils roughly 20 years ago. When the reports started coming out, I was quite amazed, he tells The Debrief, because what people were describing, what paleoanthropologists were describing and indeed reconstructing, sounded very much like what the Leo people had been describing to me the previous summer. Forth's book purports that these ape-man creatures lived at least into modern times, and he believes credible sightings mean there's a chance a small population still exists. The search for a modern-day Lai Hoa presses on.